Greetings, Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to WizdomDropz, your source for daily drops of wisdom and savvy cat astrology. Meow. My name is Tonia, and today we are discussing the axis in astrology. What is the axis? Well, we're going to discuss it today, and even if you've been practicing astrology for a while, this is a really cool, deep, like one of those really basic but really deep kind of things that is great to know as an astrologer. And I will promise you that once you sit and really think about axes after viewing this video and listening to what we're about to talk about, you're gonna become a stronger astrologer, because this is such a cool Jedi like hack of astrology that I just want to like share with you and just speak to more directly, just in the context of an axis. Like, what are axes? Whatever, if that's even the real word. Okay, before we do jump into that and we look at the screen and we go through the details, I did just do a video talking about the Leo Aquarius axis, in which I restate and state a little differently some of this stuff, but that's a little bit longer of a video, which if you're a serious student of astrology, I highly recommend you check out, might I say. And it will be in the suggested videos at the end of this video, just saying, because it'll be my most recent upload at that point. Although that's gonna change quickly. So look at my YouTube channel to figure out how to view that if you're not viewing this right away. However, this is our kind of like discussion today. This is our grounding point. And if you want to seriously understand the confusion and like what is there to actually learn at a deeper level between an axis, then this video is for you. If you're new to this channel, welcome. You can subscribe, because I do put out a video every day of the week for nothing, for no expense, for $0. $0, it's free to you. So you're welcome to join if you feel like you resonate with our content. You know what I'm saying? Real astrologers only, y'all. The people here, I'm so proud of it. It's like we have like 420 something, maybe 430 at this point, people who are like hardcore serious students of astrology. Like, if you're here, you're not really like just here for like superficial cosmopolitan things. Like, if you're here, you're like ready to like get into astrology. So I just think that's cool. You're so cool. That's about all I have to say on that. But do like this video, crew, if it provides you value, because it gives other people the video for free as well. So why wouldn't you do it? Literally, like, why not? Okay. Also, last but not least, if you want a reading from me, you can check that out. My Gmail is in the description box, and you can reach out to me there and we'll schedule a booking. Gorgeous. Now, let's go into this. What the hell is an axis? An axis is a straight line across the 12 sign chart. Okay, so the two signs that oppose each other are on an axis. Aries and Libra is an axis. Leo and Aquarius is an axis. Cancer and Capricorn is an axis. Scorpio and Taurus is an axis, etc. Okay, with that said, what you're gonna get out of an axis when you understand it is that each one of these energies, yeah, they're totally different. Cancer is totally different than Capricorn and vice versa. But at the same time that they're totally different, there's a nugget of the same within the other. And so it becomes this really interesting like yin yang effect, where you have like balance, because in one there's more of one and yet a dash of the other, and it's inherently flipped in the yin yang representation, right? And now the other way of looking at this is that they're two magnetic forces. One is a receiver and one is more of the grabber. So they're both attracted to each other simply because they're opposite, in other words. So that is going to be related as well to this inherent understanding. And when you think about that, you can really think about it from the whole opposites attract. Well, yeah, but not exactly, because they also can butt heads in astrology. It's good to have a fair amount of oppositions between you and a partner or you and a friend, because it encourages discourse and it encourages exchange. But what it doesn't always encourage is peace and harmony. That's more of like a trine, like the same element to the same element, or a sextile, the same gender association element with the same gender association element. Anyway, digression aside, an axis is when you have an opposition of signs across 180 degrees. You are never going to have an axis that is not consuming a 180 degree relationship. Like you're never going to have an Aquarius Virgo axis. That doesn't exist. If somebody's talking about an Aquarius Virgo axis, just go on to a different video because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Same if it was like an Aquarius Cancer axis, that doesn't exist. There is a Leo Aquarius axis, there is a Cancer Capricorn axis, there is a Virgo Pisces axis, okay? So that now rules that out. But even I want to go into the gender elements because this is very interesting. If you're not already like really thinking about these things every day when you approach a chart, then this is what you, in my opinion, should start thinking about every day when you approach a chart. And that's the elements. The elements, I feel like in astrology, we miss the elements and their significance so often. But think about them for real. Water, think about water in Mother Earth. Think about water in nature. Okay, earth. Okay, there's always earth and water together, isn't it? Isn't it? Think about water and earth. Either the water is falling from the sky and it lands on the earth and it absorbs into the earth, or the water is nested within the earth eventually, right? It's always held by earth. And earth cannot grow plants, earth, without water. Water is life. Okay, now we get that. Going on to fire and air. Can you have a fire without oxygen? Answer, no. You can have a low oxygen fire if you're making like biochar or something groovy like that, which is fucking awesome. If you don't know about biochar, please Google that, do something, watch a video, something. But biochar is really cool for soil fertility. It lasts 1,000 years, just saying. But moving on, like you can't have a fire without oxygen, a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? And oxygen could not move if it were not for the spirit that is represented by fire. You see, oxygen in and of itself is rather stationary. Oh, my Hedenbergite, not groovy. Oh, dear Lord. You see this? Maybe it's a signal to show you my Hedenbergite. Isn't it cool? It's so gorgeous. But you couldn't have air without fire because air needs to move. If air was just stationary, it wouldn't be air. So air has a little bit of spark of chi, if you want to think of it like that, within it, that helps it move. And you know, the storms often go with like air and water, interestingly, is kind of like a bridge in storm lines, because the jet lines follow the different air and storms together. It's really interesting how that like works with the water and the air, but I don't need to get into digression of elements too far. But what I will say is that when you have this opposition, you have also a complementary thing going on at the same time, that it appears to be a contradictory thing. So like, for example, earth, dry old crotchety earth, it seems really different than like beautiful, wet, like malleable water, right? This is hard and solid and crusty. And this is soft and like beyond Play-Doh. It's so mutable. It is the definition of mutable substance. You know what I'm saying? Water. But then look at how they complement each other at the same time. If this is cracked as hell and it's not going to do anything worth growing any kind of life or plants on it, it needs water. Earth needs water. Okay. Now on the flip side, water, if water did not have earth to collect in, water would just hit our surface and we wouldn't even have a surface for it to hit. So it would just rain through our entire atmosphere. There would be no like gravity to hold shit together when it rained. You know what I mean? Or it would all turn into like gas. It would just be like nothing substantive, quite literally. It wouldn't be able to collect and pool if it did not have earth. So they need each other. They're opposite as hell, sure, but they're not, because there's a little bit of one within the other. Do you think in healthy high vibe earth, aka plants, there's an absence totally of water? Negative. Do you think in healthy high vibe healthy high vibe water, there's an absence of earth? No, we just talked about that. Water couldn't even have substance if it wasn't for earth. Do you see what I'm saying? Yo, we just went so deep into the axes though. Boy, girl. So what I'm trying to tell you is that when you have signs, no matter what signs you have, that sign that is in question that you're talking about, always remember, fellow astrologers, there is a yang to that yin or a yin to that yang. You know what I'm saying? And you need to figure out where in your interpretation, if you want to use this Jedi trick, right? You need to figure out where in your interpretation can you bring in that complementary sign energy. And once you start to interpret and think about the relationship between the sign in question and that opposing sign, you start to go down a fascinating rabbit hole that just leads to one connection to another, whether you're looking at the planetary ruler of that opposing sign versus the planetary ruler of the sign in question and their connections in the chart, whatever. There's so many ways you can launch off of that foundation of really just thinking about an axis in astrology. You know, we just talked about so many examples. I hope it spurred new thoughts for you. If it did, please do feel shared to leave those. What did I just say? The words that just came out of my mouth. OMG, Mercury's retrograde. Oh my goddess. That's the next video. Now we know. All right. With that said, like this video because you know it brought you value. And with that said, through next time, until next time, may the stars be with you. Peace.